Do you know who you are? No, I'm not asking your name. Not what you do for a living. I'm asking, who are you really? Without what your parents want. Without what your friends expect. Without what society tells you to be. Just you. Your authentic self. Most people spend their entire lives without ever knowing the answer. Carl Jung had a name for this, individuation. And it's the most important journey of your life. Carl Jung, one of the most influential psychologists of the 20th century, spent his entire life trying to answer one question. How does a person become their whole, authentic self? Because Jung saw that most people live their entire lives wearing a mask, living a false identity. They become what their parents wanted, what society expected, what was considered normal. But their true self? That stays buried, hidden, forgotten. Jung called this journey to your true self, individuation. And he believed it was the ultimate goal of human life. Today, I'm going to show you what individuation really means, why it matters, and how you can begin this journey. Let's begin. It's part 1. The persona, the mask we wear. The first thing you need to understand about individuation is the persona. Your persona is the mask you show to the world. It's the role you play in society. Think about it. At work, you're the professional. With friends, you're the funny one. With family, you're the responsible child. These are all personas, roles you play. And here's the problem. Most people start believing the mask IS them. They forget there's a real person underneath. You spend so much time being what others expect that you lose track of who you actually are. Jung said, the persona is a compromise between the individual and society about what a person should appear to be. But individuation? That's about going beyond the persona. It's about discovering what's underneath the mask. Ask yourself right now, how much of your life is you playing a role? And how much is the real you? This is where your journey begins. Recognizing that you've been living as a character, not as yourself. Part 2. Integrating the shadow. The second step of individuation is confronting your shadow. Your shadow is everything you've rejected about yourself. The anger you've suppressed. The selfishness you've hidden. The weakness you're ashamed of. Most people run from their shadow. They pretend it doesn't exist. But Jung said something revolutionary. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Your shadow doesn't disappear just because you ignore it. It controls you from the darkness. This is why individuation requires shadow work. You have to face the parts of yourself you've been hiding. When you were a child, society told you, don't be angry, don't be selfish, don't be weak. So you buried those parts. You pushed them into the shadow. But individuation says, those rejected parts are still part of you. And until you accept them, you can't be whole. Think of it like this. You're trying to build a complete puzzle, but you've thrown away half the pieces because you didn't like how they looked. You can't be whole if you're rejecting parts of yourself. So the second step is accept your shadow. Integrate it. Make peace with the parts of you that you've been fighting. Part 3. Balancing Anima and Animus. The third step is understanding your Anima or Animus. If you're a man, your Anima is your inner feminine side. If you're a woman, your Animus is your inner masculine side. Jung believed that every person has both masculine and feminine qualities. But society tells us to suppress one side. Men are told, don't be emotional, don't be vulnerable, don't be soft. Women are told, don't be aggressive, don't be too ambitious, don't be too strong. So we split ourselves in half. We reject the parts that don't fit our gender role. But individuation requires balance. A man needs to connect with his anima, his emotions, his intuition, his vulnerability. A woman needs to embrace her animus, her strength, her logic, her assertiveness. This isn't about becoming less masculine or less feminine. It's about becoming whole. It's about saying, I'm a man, and I can be vulnerable. I'm a woman, and I can be strong. When you balance your anima and animus, you stop being a half-person trying to fit a role. You become a complete human being. Part 4. Discovering the self. Now we come to the final stage, the self. The self is not your ego. It's not your persona. It's not even your conscious mind. The self is the totality of who you are. Conscious and unconscious. Light and shadow. Masculine and feminine. Jung said, the self is the archetype of wholeness and the regulating center of the psyche. When you reach individuation, you're not trying to be perfect. You're trying to be whole. You're accepting all parts of yourself, the good and the bad, the strong and the weak, the light and the dark. Most people spend their lives trying to be someone else, someone better, someone more acceptable. But individuation says, stop trying to be someone else. Start being fully you. This doesn't mean you stop growing. It means you grow from a place of self-acceptance, not self-rejection. You're not fixing yourself. You're becoming yourself. And here's the beautiful part. When you become your authentic self, life stops feeling like a struggle. You stop trying to fit in. You stop seeking approval. You stop living for others. You start living from your center, from your truth, from your wholeness. This is individuation. This is what Jung meant by becoming who you were always meant to be. Part 5. The journey is lifelong. Here's something important. Individuation is not a destination. It's a journey. You don't wake up one day and say, I'm individuated now. I'm done. It's a lifelong process. You're constantly peeling back layers, discovering new parts of yourself, integrating more of your shadow. Jung himself said he didn't fully individuate until his 60s. And even then, he saw it as an ongoing process. So if you're just starting this journey, don't expect overnight transformation. But here's what you can expect. You'll start noticing when you're wearing a mask. You'll catch yourself playing a role instead of being yourself. You'll start seeing your triggers as teachers. When someone annoys you, you'll ask, what part of myself am I rejecting? You'll start feeling more whole, less divided, less at war with yourself. And slowly, gradually, you'll start living as your authentic self. Not the person your parents wanted, not the person society expected, but the person you were born to be. This is individuation. This is the ultimate journey. So here's your challenge. Take out a piece of paper right now. Write down 3 questions. What role am I playing in life? What mask am I wearing? What part of myself have I rejected? What's in my shadow? Who would I be if I stopped trying to be what others expect? Be honest. Be brave. This is the beginning of your individuation journey. And if this video resonated with you, if it made you think about who you really are, do me a favor. Hit that like button. It helps more people discover this content. Subscribe to this channel for more deep dives into Carl Jung's psychology and self-discovery. And comment below, what mask are you ready to take off? What part of yourself are you ready to accept? Let's support each other on this journey to wholeness. Remember, you weren't born to be a copy. You were born to be you. Start your individuation today.